You're tuned in to season 4 of Catch My Black and Gay podcast.
Where being black and gay is definitely okay.
This podcast was created to give African American gay men an outlet to express, debate, and give our opinion on today's pop culture, political, and life views.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to Catch My Black and Gay podcast, where being black and gay is definitely okay. I am your boy Jay, and I have my amazing co-host with me today, Chef Vaughn.
Wagwan. Oh shit, sorry.
Ooh, you got that cum in your throat, bitch.
Motherfucker.
Not the cum.
I don't do that anymore.
Lord.
Interesting.
I thought you said spitters or quitters. That's your favorite line.
Child, you know.
We grow in the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
And Torian.
What's up?
So we are on. We're at the end of Pride. Happy Pride, everyone! I hope everyone enjoyed their Pride Month. Pride is 365 days of the year, or as Portia said, 265.
I was about to say, you sure it's not 265?
The hell she live at.
Took me out watching that again.
My God.
Okay.
So happy Pride. I will say that this Pride year has been a little bit disappointing to me. In several ways, right? One, I think the hate for LGBTQ plus has been heightened, and the audacity for folks to post what they've been posting. It's very disheartening to where when I stop following hashtags because it triggers me, right? So that's one. And then the second thing is this is gonna be a slippery slope, child.
Slide.
Let me dip, baby, dip. Come on,
right.
Now, dip, baby, dip. We have to do better with how we show up for Pride. And when I mean that, I feel like I feel like the LGBTQ plus community is sexualized. That's one. Two, and when I mean show up, I mean us being sexual, and you both have already said you have no problem with, us being deemed hypersexuals. Cool, that's fine. That's your opinion. But also the fighting. I'm like, oh my God. Like, I can go down on Twitter and see so many fights on Pride, so many arguments, it baffled me. And I'm like, this is supposed to be a time of celebration. Okay. And if we have to take our own selves seriously, if we want other communities and other people to take us seriously, if we want our mission, or what they like to say, our agenda, to be taken seriously, we have to show up better. That's just my opinion. Slippery slope. What is you laughing at?
I sort of have a problem with that.
Okay.
And I do, because I think, yes, you know, we all should be. We all need to do better in the way in which we navigate each other across the board, regardless of sexuality, regardless of race, regardless of whatever. Right? I think it's a bit unfair to suggest that somehow, because when you have large groups of people celebrating and coming together, everyone drinking, having a great time, that that there because there are fights happening, that somehow that means that we all need to be overly vigilant about how we navigate each other, or overly I think, do we say the same thing for white folks when they go into their soccer, hockey games and act a fucking fool when when their team loses or when a team wins,
That's not
right?
in my community, though.
But I think fair. But again, when we over where the expectation is overly exerted for one group, be, uh, outside of the quote unquote main group, right, white people, then I think that that's a problem. I think when we are over, let me finish. When I think that when we are over policing certain groups because of how they're navigating, I think when we don't hold other groups to that same standard or higher standards, that's a problem. And I I have a problem with that. I think, again, like I said, like I started off, if we want to have a conversation about, if we want to center the conversation in that everyone, right? I mean, you started off with talking about how much hate there is for the LGBTQ community, right? And so what that says to me is that across the board, we all need to be looking at how we
Yeah.
see each other, how we navigate each other. And I think
Yes.
for there to be an all over emphasis, or this judgment, or this somehow this um particular, like, over policing of people's behavior or of communities, I think that that's particularly communities, marginalized communities, I think that that's problematic.
I mean, but see, and I never went to race. I said us as a, as LGBTQ plus. I never put race into it,
I,
right? Um, that's not my community. The main people, the white people, I'm speaking from a place of LGBTQ plus community, which I am a member of. I have just like I don't speak on, just like how we don't speak on different communities here, the trans community and all. We don't speak for them or whatever. I'm speaking as a community because I represent that community. So I feel like I have an opinion, and I do hate when you do have an opinion, people say, "Oh, you're being judgmental," and it's like, no, I have a thought, and this is just my thought. Right? Do what you want to do, but I'm just saying what I would like to see. And I mean, if we do want to bring race into it, I will say, like, I I feel like being naked in the street, being in your underwear, being like, and I'm not over policing it. I want us to stop sexualizing it, right? Because it gives, and to me, I don't think I'm policing it. It's just, I just feel like they just look at us and everything is about sex, and sometimes we reinforce that stereotype when freedom doesn't mean run down the street naked.
but
like,
for but for some it does.
okay,
But for
okay.
some it does,
Well, you're
and for
breaking
some
the law because you're a pervert.
I mean, I, 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 I mean, I'm not going there with you with that. I'm not going down that. I'm not doing that. But I will say that there is a sense of judgment. There is a sense of policing when
No,
you make the
it's an
statement that you
opinion.
make.
That's an opinion. I
An
have a right
opinion
to an
can be
opinion.
judgmental. Wait a second. An
No,
opinion can be
mm-mm,
judgmental. What?
no, no.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
What were you saying, Chef Val?
I was just saying, take into consideration that Pride is during the summer. It's really, really hot. And I mean, you're not going to be in New York with a mink on. So, I mean, I get, and I also think that everyone looks at like New York as like, that's what Pride is. And I don't, like, if you go to other places, that's not what you really see.
Mm-hmm.
And I think to the point of the fighting is like, well, when a group of people get together, it's going to be a fight or two. Like,
Well, no,
that's
that's
just
not what I'm saying though, and that's good. I'm sorry.
no. I was just saying, like, group of people, like,
Oh, absolutely. When you get when you get that many people, there's bound to be a fight,
of course,
right? But I think we go to these, like, I will say this: it is like a running joke, especially on Twitter, with Atlanta Pride. Like, people just go down there to fight, child. Like, and you will see at Atlanta Pride there is, I mean,
but you gotta look at the temperament. Atlanta is like black gay capital. Like,
Absolutely not.
I
Absolutely
didn't
not.
say that.
Absolutely not. Absolutely
I didn't say that.
sorry if it sounds fucked up, but I mean,
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
when you're from a certain class, honey, there's just certain things you just don't do. But those in Atlanta, look, ghetto.
Absolutely.
I'm dragging it. I'm dragging it. Atlanta, I love you guys.
Absolutely not.
I'm fucking with Nicole.
There's
The other
somebody
host.
stand on it, bitch.
Absolutely
No,
not.
but
ghetto ass motherfucker.
I mean,
as a person who has indulged in Atlanta Pride, okay, it all depends on whom you hang with in the crowd that you run with. Because when I've enjoyed Atlanta Pride, I have not witnessed fights like that.
Well, child, you were just in a fight the other day that was on the internet. So I don't think that you could be the one to really tell me about the quorum in public.
Well, first of all,
I'm fucking with you.
No, bitch, because if you want to put no, ma'am,
I knew this.
No, ma'am.
He was fucking with you. You have to defend yourself.
And that was last summer, bitch. I was outside of Pride. Okay,
the whole summer's Pride. Pride is 365. I just said it.
And that hoe got drunk. And hoe thought she was Superman. Okay. So, and I didn't fight that hoe. Let's be clear. Could have, but I didn't. Okay. I think that, again, we're not going to. I am not going to sit and allow you to villainize, individuals.
Girl. I'm not villain.
Oh girl. Watch our words, but go ahead. You may continue.
Now y'all know I am very particular about the words that I say.
I'm not villainizing
at all.
Y'all literally just said that the girls in Atlanta
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I said,
Jason brought up Atlanta Pride.
I can't.
I spoke on Atlanta Pride.
I can't.
Am I speaking from experience? I have never been to Atlanta Pride. I'm just speaking of the news coverage of it all and the hashtags of it all. And I don't want to be there, but I also don't want to be at New York Pride. And that's my city. Like, listen, I had to break it down to somebody the other day because they just assumed that, once you're gay, the only way you can be gay is if you go to Pride. I don't really participate in that. Did it when I was young. Yeah. It was great. And I'm an adult. So, like, I don't really get my rocks off rubbing on other people's sweaty, stinking. I'm good off all of that. I go to Asbury Park Pride.
Bitch, what?
Not with the old white people.
We get a tent. And I sit on the grass and watch the fucking show, and then we go. No, we go over and we get merch. I got a big ass bag of merch of stuff, and I take my ass home, like get information, what's new, and keep it moving, child. But I don't got time for all that extra shit. The pasties of it all. And
I don't want people like don't get me wrong. I love Pride. I love the costumes. I love the creativity. I love, I understand what Pride stands for. I want to make that very clear. And I do think it is a month of celebration. And then those, I think, a lot of the last week of June, culminates a lot of prides, especially the big one, which is in New York, right? I think that's the last the last weekend of June. You know, I love all of that, and I'm not trying to villainize it, nor am I trying to police it. What I'm trying to say is, I, I, I just, I feel like not that we can do better. I don't even want to use words like that because I just think that, again, I feel like the LGBTQ community, when people think about us, when people write these nasty ass comments, it all has to do with sex and genitalia and all that shit, you know. And I'm not trying, and I hope it's not coming across. And I'm okay with being corrected if it's coming across as
Are you?
me. No, I'm okay with being corrected because I mean, listen, this is just an opinion and a thought that I
Mm-hmm.
have, and I
Mm-hmm.
brought it to the podcast because we always center each other, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I've left this podcast, and you guys have changed my mind on something that I
Mm-hmm.
think, you know, and I feel like this is a safe space to kind of say it
Of course.
without being judged or
Of course. Of
villainized,
course. Of
right?
course.
So,
Of
but
course.
what I'm trying to convey is that I just I get it. I get the freedom, the liberty, the what we fought for. But I also feel like sometimes people just like, why are you a fucking 40-year-old man running down the street fucking naked with your balls and dick hanging out? Like, what the fuck is going on here?
I don't know
Like,
what news you watching,
Can I?
child.
Can I? Okay. But can we since we're talking about since you brought up the history of pride, right?
Mhm.
Right? Like that was brought out of rebellion, right? It was brought out of rioting,
Child, you wasn't
right?
on the front line, not you, but I bet you that 40-year-old man wasn't on
But
the front line.
but here's my
Go ahead.
point. My point is that even those individuals wearing what they're wearing, coming out as free and as liberated as they are, that is still yet a sign of rebellion. That is still a way in which to rebel against, like you started the conversation with, individuals who are consistently anti-LGBTQ and doing their damnedest to erase and to deny and to do all of and to criminalize and do all of these things to the community. It's still a form of resistance. It's still a form of rebellion. And we may not like it. We may not see it for ourselves. But the reality is that the fact that some people feel it necessary to run down a street, streaking or, with half clothed and all of that, that is a sign of rebellion. That is a way of expressing that I'm going to live out loud the way that I am and who I love. And that should be celebrated. That should not
That
be,
is,
you
girl.
know, that should not be looked at as a problem, and I think that's over policing because again, like, it's, yeah, I hear you, and I'm not, I think that we can, and if we were to act on or worry ourselves with how and what people are going to say and how they're going to say, we wouldn't be doing shit. Okay, we would never be doing shit because the same people who are out here doing all of this anti-LGBTQ shit, we could be clothed in motherfucking potato sacks, okay, and they're still gonna have a problem with us as a community. They're still gonna have a problem, and so
I
and
get that.
I akin telling people that you walking outside dressed like this is just giving ammunition for this.
I'm not saying that, but go ahead.
That's what you did. You said a part of what you
Well, they're
said
not
was that.
dressed in anything. Let's be clear. But go ahead.
Again, but regardless, what you said was them showing up in this way gives credence or somehow perpetuates or gives people ammunition to do and continue to say what
I
they
didn't say that. No, I didn't
Oh
say
my
that.
God. Okay. Here's what I want you to do because you edit the episodes. When you go back and listen, I want you to listen again to what you said and then go back to this conversation and then say whether you said it or not.
I don't have to do that.
How do you guys feel about children at Pride? That's a serious question, bitch. I'm asking a serious question here.
hold on. I want to go back to what this this girl
Lord.
said. No, because I don't want to. That's not what. And I think what people seem to do is, you have a thought, you have an opinion, you want to open it up for open things up and have some type of line of communication to help understand. And we use these words to attack them for having an opinion, and I
You feel attacked?
a little bit. Because that's not the message that I'm sending, right?
So that's the message you don't want to send. Right, you're not intending to send that message. But I'm okay, Chef Von.
Yes.
Is that what Jason said? Now, I'm not saying verbatim. I'm not going to say verbatim because I don't remember what he verbatim said. I'm not a fucking recording tape.
You should.
However, did he or did he not, in essence, say that when people are doing this thing, that it gives people it gives people ammunition to say or think the things that they say or think?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, y'all both can suck a big fat dick.
Not the person who just said he doesn't mind being corrected, or not the person who just said he doesn't mind.
And don't threaten me with a good time. Now, don't threaten me with a good time. All the big dicks come this way, but
oh, I accept that. I accept that.
Okay,
that's what
that's what you said, but your intentions wasn't your intentions, and you don't want the audience to think that that's your intentions. Just like it's not my intention to talk about Atlanta. It's not. Make sure I swim back. Make sure I swim back around to that real quick.
Okay, got it. You had to circle back.
I'll tell you this, and I'll tell you this, and because I was treading a little bit lightly, but when I see the pride stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
The only people I really do see naked are white gays. I'm sorry. like, I'm sorry. I didn't want to bring race into it. So I just, I was like, I swear, everyone, like, there was this, on Sunday, I guess, this fountain of whatever, and people were in the park just bull motherfucking naked. And it was all white people. And I was like, ew. Like,
Black people ain't getting naked out.
But what I will say though is in regards to the fighting aspect, and like I saw this, and I'm gonna send it to you guys. I saw these people celebrating Pride. This wasn't New York. I don't know if this was Atlanta or if it was North Carolina. It was somewhere down south, I believe. But this dude literally had his friend record him, go up to the boy and tap him.
And got his ass whooped. Mm-hmm.
Well, at first, the clip that was going around, the friend jumped in and said, "No, y'all not fighting.
Right?
No, y'all not fighting." And I was like, "Oh my God, I love that for us. Like, let's shut this shit down. You are not fighting. This is the day of Pride. Like, let's do that some other time. For what? Like, and now you being goofy because you already set him up because you're recording it. Like, I could never. Let me tell you something. And y'all know I like to fight. I have never told anyone, record this. Bitch, if you made me so mad that I gotta put my hands on you, you won't have time for all that, bitch, because you're gonna be on the ground.
But I think I agree with you. I think the other thing too is that we're in a different era than how we grew up and when we hung out. You know what I mean? Like
I'm talking now. I just had a fight. Shut up.
But you want to call me out about some shit last year, Chef Von? Wow.
What? I didn't hear about this fight. I didn't hear about it. This is news.
Breaking news. But no, that was one of the clips, but there were like two other clips released after that showing them actually fighting.
I saw that.
And homeboy who tapped got his ass whipped. Handed to him twice on two separate occasions.
It's nothing like a fight that start at one place, one area, and I mean it's a moving fight just down the street.
Okay,
they was moving down the street fight. I was like, God damn!
And that's the shit that I call bullying. Like that's the shit that I call bullying, because anytime you can tap someone and they clearly are walking away from you. Actually, this
Didn't want to
gentleman,
fight.
this person hid behind, like not hid, but got behind his friend, who was the one saying, no, not today. There's a time and a place for everything. Like, we're having a good time, like all of that shit. And you still wanted to continue that, so you got your ass handed to you, mouth bloody and all, fucked up.
Well, I only saw the first clip and then the second clip where the fight was moving. I ain't see who was winning, bitch.
Oh, there was 3. There's another one where he tossed homeboy, did a hip toss on that ass,
Not a hip toss.
got him up on the damn gate. And then started wailing on his ass, and you can see homeboy, the dark skinned guy with the locks. You can see him, or the 2-strand twist or whatever, and you can see him bloodied and all in the face, bloodied. Yeah, absolutely. And I don't condone violence, but I do condone self-defense. Okay, I don't condone violence, but I absolutely condone self-defense, especially when you are an antagonist, especially when you are literally poking, tapping on people like, oh, what's up? Okay, girl. And you got your ass handed to you. Good for you. Good fucking for you. Good fucking for you. But I would also say, to your point, back to your point, Jay, around, the white folks in the park getting ass naked.
I'm just saying.
Because at the end of the day, us black folk, there's limits to the shit that we will do.
Hello.
There are limits.
And maybe I should have started off with race, and it would have landed better, bitch.
Well, let's not forget Freaknik.
Yeah, but I mean, and that's the heterosexual folks,
and the West Indian parade.
But even then,
the Puerto Rican parade.
But even then, those are still, in the way in which we show up, is still a different, right?
Yeah.
Like we may enjoy sex and be sexualized and all of that jazz, but there's still limits to what we do, because we know that there's certain shit we ain't gonna fucking get away with that white folk can walk around and get the fuck away with.
Very true.
Okay,
because if a black man was running down the street with his Mendingo slinging, they would have arrested that man.
Baby, they would have tased his ass.
That too.
First. Okay? They would have tased his ass, if that. Okay, if not worse. Right? So, I think, and this is what I'm talking about. This is why I started the conversation the way I started the conversation, is that, like, and as much as we try not to interject race into this, race is always a part of the things in which we navigate and see.
Maybe I should have started with that. Because I'd be like, it'd be the white people kissing. Child.
Okay.
Like, you just met him 2 minutes ago.
Okay.
On the corner, you kissing. Oh, girl. Like, herpes. What's going on?
Yeah. Okay. And circling back to Chef Vaughn's question around children at Pride, right? Like, y'all know how I feel about it. I think that exposing children as young as possible to that dynamic, to that life, and when I say life, I mean the expression, the outward expression of queer love and queer joy and queer fun and things like that. I think it's important to socialization, to ensuring that we are not continuing to create more fucking bigots and more fucking.
I get that, but do you want your 8-year-old son, nephew, or niece to see the 40-year-old white man running down the street with his balls and hairy ass dick running down the fucking Christopher Street? Well, fucking no.
But can we also say that that happens? That can happen on a fucking normal day.
Hello, but we don't want it to. I'm pretty sure you would cover their eyes and shit.
But that shouldn't be. That's the expectation. That's the exception. That shouldn't be the rule. Right? That's not an everyday thing. That's not a thing that happens all the time and that is consistently around the board. Like, that is the exception. That is not the rule. And so, do I want my kid or my 8-year-old to see somebody running ass naked? No, of course not. Do I think that's inappropriate? Of course I do. If we ask the question around PDA, because we've had this conversation before around PDA in front of kids, we don't say shit when the heterosexuals do it in front of kids. We don't say nothing about that.
What are we talking? I don't give a fuck who it is. I don't give a fuck who it is. You should not want to expose your child to. I don't give a fuck. Again.
To expressions of love?
No. I'm talking about naked people running down the street.
That's not what I disagree with you. That no, that's not something that I want to see my kids or my niece or my nephew or whoever to
Okay.
see. But again, that is the exception. That is not the rule. I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm not going to take my kids to a pride because there's going to be some white guy running down the street ass naked because that's what
Well, I don't
happened
think
last
that.
year. Like I'm
No,
not going
but
to do that.
I'm not. Yes, I agree. We're on the same page. We're on the same page.
Yeah,
Well,
but
I
I
would
was just
say
talking about the PDA.
Okay, yeah, no PDA. I think you have to I'm suffering now because I never seen my parents do PDA, so I'll be like, girl, don't touch me. Why you touching me?
I think kids can be at Pride, but just at. I don't think it should be small children. I do think that the kids should be at a level of understanding, and
Mm.
and to kind of to know certain things, because I think it can be a double-edged sword exposing them to that. You know what I mean? Like, I see some little ass kids at Pride like this year, and I was just like, at first, because I saw it last year. And at first, last year, I'm like, oh, this is like awesome. Like, I think this is great. Like, maybe they are feeling. But then I was like, this year, it was just like, I think it's kind of inappropriate. Like, I don't know.
So, what age would you say is appropriate?
I think, like,
I don't
my
think
my little cousin came to Pride and she's what, like 12, 11? Like, it needs to be a level of understanding. I mean, little kids, like, is what I'm talking about.
See,
what age is little kids for you?
but see, I was gonna say
like 5, 6, 7.
But see, here's the thing
Interesting.
though,
Okay.
and I'll tell you my experience this year going to West Hollywood Pride, which is mainly white gays. I saw so many kids out there that were 4 and 5, but I saw husband and husband, right? I saw, like, you could tell they were married, or they were coupled, right? And you could tell they had a child together. However, they had a child together. Like, so how do you celebrate that, right? Like, do you say me and your dad are gonna go celebrate our freedom, our liberation, and leave your ass in the house or go to the nanny? I think it, like you said, it that can be tricky. I think it's depending on the situation. No,
I personally, I feel like we have a, like, our. I'm gonna leave it alone because I don't have kids.
Go ahead.
Say your thought.
Good.
I feel like we were talking earlier about, like, our agenda and these things and being taken serious.
Whatever the agenda is, I was being
like, whatever that. I also think that it's part of our responsibility, like, I don't know, gay or straight or like whatever. It's a kid is a kid. They just shouldn't be around all of that. When you go to a Pride, it's gonna be breast out. Even if it has a pasty over it, it's gonna be dicks out. Even if they're like in underwear this thin, I mean, it's just like, I just think it's a slippery slope. Personally, that's just me.
I mean, I think that's fair, and I think that's arguments, that's debates that's happening all around. You know what I mean? Like, that's constantly the debate. I think a part of it, though, and I think a part of it is, I don't think that we are giving kids enough credit.
I agree.
We're not giving kids enough credit. Do you understand that there are kids, 5 and 6 year olds, who are having these types of conversations?
Yes.
There are people as young and 5 as 6, when they're starting to begin to see themselves and see what's a part of their bodies and explore and ask questions. They're starting to get that, and they're starting to have these conversations with their team, with their friends, with the people around them.
Yeah.
And so I think that we aren't giving I think a part of this whole argument around, like, because let me also say that this is a part of the anti-LGBTQ folk. This is a part of their argument. This is what they use as reasons why they're anti-LGBTQ. It's to protect kids, right? That's why people are banning drag shows in public spaces because of protecting kids. And it's like, no, this is literally bigotry, just excused by this pseudo ass, fake ass. Oh, we worrying about the kids, protecting the kids, but y'all ain't doing shit about gun violence, or So for me, it's like, I hear that, but and not but, I hear that, and I think that we're not truly giving kids credit to, one, how smart they are, two, them knowing or expressing or having some sort of sense of idea of who they are, maybe not being able to define it, maybe not having the words, but that's our job. Our job is to give them the words, to be able to express, to be able to explain as best as they can, not to force feed them of like, oh, you have to do this, so like, no, that is not protection, that is control. And honestly, that literally is behavior only to hide our own fears, to hide our own prejudices and our own isms. And we hide it behind protecting kids. Like, we need to move away from that narrative. It's harmful.
I do agree as well. And I think, Chef, you hit it on the head. I think there's no age to it, right? And I think, like you said, level of understanding, right? Because like Torian said, some 5-year-olds already know, right?
Right.
So I think it's all about just, your level of understanding.
Yeah. And we have to trust our kids. Like, we have to trust kids.
I do think that we don't give kids enough credit, like you said. I do agree with that. But I do think that a lot of time parents, they don't allow their children an option to say, I don't want to do this. Like, I don't want to go.
Yeah.
Like, I do think that it should be an option. Like, it shouldn't be like, well, we're a family, and me and your dad, and it's like, do you want to do this? Do you want to? And the reason I say it has to be like an older kid, it needs to be like a 7-year-old, like, oh, I don't want, or a 6-year-old, like, I don't want to go because I want to, stay and play. Like, I just think it should be an option. I think small children shouldn't be at Pride, personally. But yeah, I'm here for it though. I'm here for it.
Yeah, and I think, and that's where you get where individuals get to ultimately make the decision that they feel that is best for their family, right?
Yeah,
right.
It depends on the situation.
You depend on if that's how your strong belief is. I don't think my 5-year-old or 4-year-old is appropriate to be at a Pride. You have that right. We live in America. You have that right to make that decision for you and your family. And people can debate and say, well, I think that's harmful for your kids in the long run, right? Or whatever have you. You can have that debate, but I think it's problematic when we make generalizations, or we say, yeah, a 5-year-old can't be appropriate.
Right.
Generally speaking, because we don't know that. We can't tell that. It may be that 5-year-old who you just told, no, you can't be around this, and it's not appropriate for you, who may be experiencing, like, I know that I'm different. I see Johnny, and Johnny is a boy, and Johnny is attractive. Right. I find Johnny attractive. But now you're not giving the space for them to even begin to learn or to think about, how do I express that? What does that look like in a healthy way? You know what I mean? Like, so I think that we have to be able to trust our kids and give our kids enough fucking credit that, like, we were 5, 6, 7-year-old. We know what the fuck being 5, 6, and 7 years old is like. And I think that's a part of the problem, because we know what we thought and what we felt, and we're like, we don't want our kids to feel that way. Okay, we in the fucking playground playing catch a girl, get a girl. Okay,
you trying to catch a boy?
Trying to catch a boy, bitch. Okay, and we don't want to do that, right? Or playing house at 6 years old. 7 years old playing house, right? Like, come on, we've done that. We've experienced that as kids. And I think now we're trying to over-police kids because of our fears, or because, and let me also say too that, like, some of it is justified, right? There's a lot of pedophiles out here. There's a lot of fucking predators and all of these people out here, right, who prey on kids. So, and for people, as a person who has experienced, sexual abuse myself, I get there were moments that I wish that my parents would have been more protective, right? Or would have been there to protect me a little bit more, and was a little bit more vigilant around who we were around. But let's also be clear too that these are people who they thought they were able to trust. That, you know what I mean? And so I think that there is some space for being protective. I think it's a problem when we are overprotective and over vigilant, where we are preventing kids from being kids and experiencing all that they will eventually experience at some point in life. And we may be fucking up because it may be that person. We talk all the time about how important representation is and how that matters, right? If you have that young person who you may not even know, may be experiencing or feeling like they are gay or may be gay or may have same gender, attraction, if they don't have healthy representation of what that looks like, then you fuck around and grow up and be like many of us, grown as hell, 30 years old, still trying to live, the life of a young gay and experiencing the life, you know what I mean? And experiencing what all that takes in and accepting that. We have to do something different. I don't know if keeping kids out of Pride is the way to go to prevent generations from continuing to be harmful or harmed, rather.
I agree with the kid thing. But let us know how
can we also say that that's interesting, because remember, you had a different opinion, I think, a couple of seasons ago, particularly when we talked about PDA and kids.
So that's different than Pride.
Yeah. I think in some ways, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's different than Pride. Again, I think, just like I think I am always reminding folks that we can't have a blanket for everyone. Everything is different. The way we learn, the way we speak, the way every situation is unique to a person and to a couple. So that's where I stand with that. Like when I have a son, because I am going to have a son. I got an announcement, y'all. I know it's not. When I have a son, will I take him to Pride? I think if I had to choose today, yes, I would probably take him to Pride. When he becomes older and if he wants to go to Pride and stuff, that's his choice. I like, what I hope and pray for is kids that are growing up now, that they are more accepting, which I think they will be, right? I mean, it's so funny. I've seen folks that are on the front lines that are bigots and homophobics and talking about this agenda, but their daughter is non-binary. And they, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all don't even, y'all kids identify with the community and are scared to even come out to you because of the shit that you're doing right now. And so that's the thing. Like, and it's just, I don't know. That's how my fear is that, never mind. We'll talk about that later. All right. Well, let us know how you feel about, because child, I was about to say I don't want to be in a world full of homo killers, that I just made up a word, but let me go trademark that.
You heard it first, homo killers.
I don't want to be, in a world full of homo killers that are scared to be who they are, and just like the trans experience, right? Like these guys come and they are down for whatever, and then they wind up killing them after they get what they want because they have this secret, and it's just, I don't want that. So anywho, let us know how you feel about this topic. Call us at 971-410-7111. Thanks. Or you can email us too. Thanks for tuning in to Catch My Black and Gay. Follow us on all social media platforms at Catch My Black and Gay. That was a good topic.